All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Cruising Complete. Your host, Barry, here with this week's cruise news updates. We have a lot of news this week. An update on Alaska. Alaska's looking really good now. Update on the cruises that were scheduled out of Bermuda. Cruises scheduled out of Bahamas. An update on those. What's going on with the lawsuit in Florida with the CDC and where's that heading? What cruise ship is now the first cruise ship set to sail out of the United States, and more. Let's cruise into it. Alright, so let's start off talking about Alaska. So last week we heard that the bill that Alaska sent into the Senate, the Alaska Tourism Recovery Act, got passed through the Senate. And then it was getting sent over to the House to see if it could get passed in the House. Well, it did. This week it got passed, so now it's going to the President's desk to get signed. So now cruises can happen out of Alaska without having to stop at a foreign port. So it kind of gives them a little bit of breathing room to possibly get something done this summer. So right after that happened, you had a bunch of cruise lines. You had Holland America, Princess, Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean have all now announced scheduled sailings out of July in Alaska. So you can go on and book those trips again for Alaska. Now, one of the interesting things about this was Carnival. All of these cruise ships going out of Alaska are requiring vaccinations. They're going to be fully vaccinated cruises. So Carnival has been one of the cruise ships that really hasn't said much about the vaccine and whether they will require it or not in the United States. So it was kind of interesting to see that they in fact are going to require it on these Alaska cruises when they've kind of hinted in the past that they wouldn't go down the vaccine route. So that was a little bit interesting. There's been some stuff going on with port agreements. There's Royal Caribbean is set to sail out of Bayonne, New Jersey in August. This week they reached a port agreement with Port Canaveral. So they're going through the CDC guidelines. Now they have that agreement, so now they can apply for test cruises in Port Canaveral. So what's interesting about this is also this week these two stories kind of tie in together a little bit. A lot of people were surprised that Royal Caribbean canceled their scheduled sailings out of Bermuda that was going to be on Vision of the Seas. They were starting to move ports around other places because they couldn't sail out of the United States. And based on the information that we got from that is I don't think that the Bermuda sailings were really selling at the rate that they expected them to. Airfare was a lot higher to go to Bermuda than it was to go to Nassau. So I don't know if they were having trouble with bookings and not getting enough bookings, enough on demand to be able to justify those sailings out of Bermuda. Now they're still going to be sailing to Bermuda in the future. They're just not going to be home porting in Bermuda. But what's interesting about this and how it ties into the Port Canaveral agreement is Vision of the Seas is now, there's nothing been confirmed, but the word is Vision of the Seas is going to Port Canaveral, and they're applying for the test cruises for Vision of the Seas in Port Canaveral. Like I said, we haven't had the confirmed story, the confirmed report about that. This is just kind of chatter of what's going on. It would make sense, being they did cancel on the Vision of the Seas in Bermuda, that ship, obviously they don't have plans for it, they don't have bookings for it, so maybe moving that to Port Canaveral to do test sailings. But if we hear any update on that, we'll definitely put that up. We'll put it up on the Facebook group page. So if you're not a member of the Facebook group page, go join there. It's free. It's just a group. Everybody communicates with each other, talks about cruising. We put all the news stories up there, and it's a great group for everybody to communicate everything about cruising. So if you haven't joined that group yet, go do that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down low and hit the like button. That really helps us out. We really appreciate it. And then you'll make sure you get all the content that we put up here too and keep you updated on everything going on in the cruising world. So an update on the lawsuit that was filed by Florida, Texas, and Alaska against the CDC. They had their hearing. Everybody was waiting for the judge to come and find out what the end result of that hearing was going to be. Well, turns out that the judge has ordered arbitration in that case, or mediation, whatever you want to call it. So pretty much they have until June 1st to come to an agreement. Now, I don't really think any of that's going to matter. It looks like cruising's really starting to take off in the United States with all these agreements and everything that's coming into place. All this talk about July cruises happening. So I think cruising's probably going to start at submagnitude in July in the United States. So honestly, I don't know if you reach this agreement by June 1st, how much of a difference that's really going to make. They're still going to need time to get the ships ready and everything. So I don't really think this lawsuit in Florida is going to play any type of a role in the cruising restart in the United States. So speaking of the restart of cruising, everybody's eyes are on what ship is going to be the first to sail out of the United States once cruising reopens. So last week, everybody's eyes was on Texas because Carnival's ship out of Texas was scheduled to leave on July 3rd as the first scheduled booking if it doesn't get canceled. Well, finding out this week, Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, leaving out of the, I believe it's port of Palm Beach, they're scheduled to leave on July 2nd. So they're a small cruise line, they only have one ship. So it's a lot easier for them to get all their ducks in a row with the CDC, to schedule their port agreements, and do everything they have to do. Being a small cruise line, they have one ship. That's all they have to get ready is one ship, one port agreement, and that's scheduled for July 2nd. So very possibly Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line could be the very first ship to actually sail out of the United States. As of right now, of course, everything changes as we go along with, the CDC guidance, and more of that comes out. We get more and more updates and things are shifting and changing. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But as of right now, Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line is the first to sail out of the United States. So the last thing I want to touch on in today's video is out of Nassau, Bahamas, the Cruises on Adventure of the Seas. So we booked this cruise a couple months ago when they first released itineraries or whatnot, and me and Kaylee booked it, and we were going to go and we were going to get some footage and vlog for the YouTube channel and show everybody kind of what it was like to be on board a cruise ship after COVID with all the new protocols in place. What's the buffet going to be like, and just do a daily vlog and all sorts of different vlogs. Well, Friday night we had received an email from Royal Caribbean. They're pretty much, I'm not going to go through the whole email, but to break it down, they're changing the vaccination age from 18 down to 16 years old for this cruise. Now, as of today, we have 27 days until our cruise. When we got the email from Royal Caribbean, we had 29 days before our cruise. So by them changing the vaccination age from 18 to 16, Kaylee was going to go with me. She's not vaccinated. She doesn't want to get vaccinated. But even if she did, she's not vaccinated. So the timeline that we have now, even if she wanted to get vaccinated, you have to schedule your shot. Then you got to go back and get your second dose, which is at least 2 weeks later. Then you need at least 14 days prior to boarding the ship for your second dose. So it's physically impossible now, with this new guidance that they just released in this email, for anybody ages 16 to 18 to get on this cruise if they hadn't already received the vaccination. So it's kind of short notice. It sucks, to be honest. Kaylee's not happy, of course. She wanted to go and wanted to do the vlogging and everything. So we're still going to go. I'm still going to go. I'm going to take either Cole or Sierra. I'm going to let them duke it out and find out which one of them wants to go more. I'm not really sure which one I'm going to take yet, but I'm probably going to take either one of those because they're under that 16-year-old age bracket, so they don't have to be vaccinated. They would just have to have a negative test. So it looks like all of the cruises now going out of Nassau is going to be 16 and older. We'll see if that plays into the United States, if they're going to do the same thing in the United States when they first start cruising again. But some kind of unfortunate news. I wasn't happy when I received it. Kaylee's definitely not happy because now she's not able to go. But we're still going to go. We're still going to vlog. Hope to put up some good content. that's all we have to touch on this week. Some really good cruise stories though. Looks like it's heading in the right direction for summertime. We're excited. We got more cruises booked in July and August, so hoping that those go, hoping that there's not a whole lot of protocols that change that keep us from being able to go on those cruises. So let us know down in the comments what you think about the cruising restart and your timeline. Are you optimistic? Do you think it's going to happen in July? Do you think it's going to be later? Let us know what you think down below. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button to help us out. Everybody have a great week. Thanks so much for watching.